Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We just got done talking about why people do not like Caitlin Clark, and now we're going to be comparing the last CrossFit competitors in the 2023 CrossFit Games to this year's CrossFit competitors in the 2024 CrossFit Games. Okay, so 40 women and men qualified to compete in the games, and let me just say these athletes are absolutely insane. Y'all are going to want to watch the games because there is going to be some fierce competition. It is going to be an event you do not want to miss out in. So let me start by talking about those that were placed in the top 12 in the 2023 CrossFit Games. Okay, so obviously in first was Laura Horvath. She is now considered the fittest woman on earth. She's got the best blend of running long distance and sprints and has the strength that is out of this world. In second was Emma Lawson. Arielle Loewen was in third, and fourth was Gabriella Magala. Fifth was Alex Gazin. Sixth was Alexis Raptis. Seventh was Katrin Tanja Davidsdottir. Eighth was Emma Carey. Ninth was Danielle Brandon. 10th was Paige Powers. Emma Tall in 11th, and lastly Emily Rolfe in 12th. So most of these competitors last year were actually from the North America regions, and it makes sense considering that the North America regions bring the most qualifiers to the games from their semifinals. Okay, so let's talk about each of these competitors. Okay, Laura Horvath, wow, finished in first in this year's 2024 Europe semifinals. Before the Europe semis were during the first week, which seems so long ago, so I feel like a lot of people are not talking about it right now. But I think that Horvath is going to bring out a top 5 position in this year's games. Winning the CrossFit Games multiple times is quite challenging due to the intense level of competition and the constantly evolving nature of the events. Like, these workouts are going to be completely different from the last year's workouts. If Horvath has maintained her performance levels, managed her training effectively, and stayed injury-free, she certainly has a good chance to compete for the title again. I think her biggest competition is going to be Tia-Clair Toomey, and I find both of these athletes to be the two strongest competitors going into the games. Toomey is a 6-time CrossFit Games champion, but she did not compete in the games last year, so that left a spot for Horvath open. The only person who has literally won the games more than once in a row is Toomey, so it's very, very, very hard to do that. But I'm confident that Laura Horvath could still finish in the top 5. Okay, Emma Lawson finished in third in the North America East semifinals this year. I think she can finish in the top 5 this year as well in the games. Last year in the semifinals, she finished in fourth. So seeing how she finished last year compared to this year in the semifinals gives me hope that she could finish in the top 5 once again. She has improved in strength, but she is one of the younger competitors. I believe she's 19 years old right now, and that could be an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. Also, I have to point out that she finished first in the quarterfinals this year. Okay, so Arielle Loewen finished third in the North America East semifinals. She also finished third in the semifinals last year, and she finished third in the CrossFit Games last year. So maybe third is her lucky spot right now. I feel like, okay, if anybody watches Dance Moms, they will understand, why that's, kind of funny. Because, there's a time when Abby Lee Miller, said, you were fourth overall and you're fourth on the period, maybe 4 is your lucky number or something. I'm pretty sure she said that to Jojo Siwa. I can't remember the exact quote, but something like that. So maybe the third is Lowen's lucky spot. Anyway, she's on that pattern, and giving her consistency at thirds, she could have a great chance of getting in third place again. But in all fairness, I think she will be in the top 10, giving her consistency, reputation, strength, and speed talent. She finished 17th in the quarterfinals, which is really good. And you're probably thinking, wouldn't it be better if she placed in the top 5 in the quarterfinals? Well, yes, but also the quarterfinal standings don't always show the best placements for everyone, if that makes sense. Tia-Clair Toomey placed 28th in the quarterfinals. And honestly, a lot of the best athletes in the quarterfinals just try to finish somewhere in the top 40 to ensure they get to the semifinals. They don't find it too pressuring to finish in the top 10 or 5 or 3. But it still is a good indicator as to who can qualify for the games, just compared on how they did in those workouts. Okay, Gabriella Magala. She finished second in the Europe semifinals this year. In the Europe semifinals last year, she finished in first, beating Laura Horvath. She's close competition to Horvath. They have similar strengths and weaknesses. Magala finished third in the quarterfinals this year, and her strengths for the past couple of years have been endurance and stamina. If there are a lot of running and more cardio-focused exercise in the games, I think she has a solid chance of placing in the top 5 again. Alex Gazon. She finished second in the North America West semifinals this year, and last year she finished first in the semifinals. Now, it isn't that she has not improved or has weakened. There just is an increased volume of competition this year and new competition as well. That is what her biggest threat is right now. She has that work ethic and competitive drive, but she struggles in the more gymnastic-y aspects of CrossFit. Like many of the strength-focused athletes, she needs to focus more on the coordination and flexibility workouts and skills to ensure that she can get a top 5 spot again. But I think she definitely has a strong chance of placing in the top 10 regardless of having those gymnastics skills or not, because she has proven that she has improved strength and endurance-wise, and that will help her as it is. Alexis Raptis. She finished second this year in the North America East semifinals, and last year in the semis she finished fifth. She has improved so much, especially in heavy lifting events. That is where she would struggle the most in, and we have seen a lot of improvement from her in that area. She already has those gymnastic skills and coordination, and with her improved heavy lifting skills, I think she has such a good chance of being in the top 5, and I mean definitely in the top 10 this year. Katrin Tanja Davidsdottir. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. She will not be in the games this year. She has been struggling with back injuries, and she says this is the first time that she cannot continue competing, ignoring the injuries. It has just gotten worse over the years of competing, and she needs to take a break this year. I think that's the best thing to do, and maybe next year she can come back out and compete in the games. Emma Carey. Hours before the official start of the 2024 CrossFit Games season, Emma Carey announced that she will not be competing. And in an Instagram post, she shared that she is taking the season off to place my affections on Jesus Christ. So I'm quoting that, by the way. So that is why she's not competing this year. Okay, Danielle Barayandin. She finished in 5th in the North America East semis this year, and last year she finished in 2nd. Given her power and strength and improved abilities and technical gymnastics skills, I think she has a good chance of being in the top 5, but definitely more in the top 10. The competition is just so dang fierce in the games. She's competed in the games 5 times, and I'm hoping that this is her year to maybe be in the top 3 or even the top 5. Some people consider her the underdog since she has, but like, I don't really see her that way since she has, like, been to the games so many times and has gotten good places consistently. So, like, I don't really see her that way, but I can understand why people do. Okay, Paige Powers. She is not going to the games this year, which is absolutely ridiculous. I talked about why she was not going to the semifinals in a video back on May 13th, and I recommend checking that video out for more information. But low-key, don't check that video out because it was one of my first videos, and let me just say, it's not my best look. Anyway, it made me very frustrated as to why Powers wasn't at the semifinals. So basically what happened, during the quarterfinals, after the judges reviewed workout 1, they decided to go back and make some adjustments, ending up changing 143 female competitors' scores. As we know, the quarterfinals are online, so people send in videos where judges will need to repeatedly review, and often that leads people to second guess themselves and to thinking they saw like something like a penalty. A video is just not the most accurate way to judge. Being in person actually gives you a proper angle and the real-time effect that you need to accurately and fairly judge. I wish the games could make this adjustment to the quarterfinals, but unfortunately with the vast amount of people that compete at the quarterfinals, it really would just not be possible. Without the alleged penalty, Powers would be going to the semifinals. Workout 1, characterized by its fight gone bad style format, presented athletes with a test of strength and endurance. The workout was 1-minute intervals of snatches, rowing for calories, and dumbbell box step-ups. However, it was during these high-intensity intervals that many athletes fell foul of the competition standards, leading to, of course, penalties. Powers was initially placed at 5th without this penalty or score adjustments, and once her score was adjusted, she moved down to 104th in the North America East region. That is insane. The box step-up penalty frustrates me a bit. This makes complete sense to me that this would be a common penalty. Once again, you're under pressure and a time limit, but here's the thing. You're stepping up and down and stepping up and down. All of our bodies do it naturally, and we don't even think about doing it. It's such like a simple move. And what I mean by that is you don't need to have this perfect form to be good at the box step-ups. It's more about if you can hold the weight, stand up straight enough to balance, and move your legs up and down quickly. The reason this one frustrates me is because this penalty can be easily avoided if the competition made the workout a box step over, where the athlete will step onto the box with the weights and then just simply step off on the other side. So ultimately, Powers will not be at the games. 11th was Emma Tall last year. Yeah, I'm like just moving straight ahead because I'm like very frustrated that she's not at the games. Okay, so Emma Tall, this year at the semifinal, she finished in 3rd place, and last year at the semi, she finished in 4th place. She's looking like she improved a bit, but she is pretty much the same strength-wise, yet pretty flexible athlete that she was last year. I'm hoping that she can maybe finish in the top 10, but I don't, oh gosh, this is gonna sound bad. I don't have as much confidence for her compared to some of the other competitors, no offense. I don't know why, it's just like, I just don't, like, she's not like my favorite competitor. Like, going to this competition, like, I can tell you my favorites, and she is not on my, like, top 5 favorites. I don't know why. It does nothing to do with her. I just, like, pick and choose. It's bad. I'm like a cat. You just pick and choose. Last person we're going to talk about is Emily Rolfe. In this year's North America West Semis, she finished in 5th place, and last year she finished in 6th place. She's shown consistency in her performance and has that perfect endurance and cardiovascular strength needed for a CrossFit competitor that finishes in the top 10. I more hope that this could be for the year for her to finish in the top 10. It did frustrate me last year that she was in 12th because, like, that's so close to being in the top 10. The thing with CrossFit Games is you can make predictions and such, but there are the littlest things that will change your scores. So it just gets very, very close competition, and there's just so many little things that frustrate me all the time, like especially with like penalties and stuff, because that just ruins somebody's score like altogether. Like we saw in Paige Powers, I could literally talk about that for an hour because it makes me so frustrated that she's not going to the games, and she deserves to be at the games. But anyway, we are now going to move on to our next segment where we're going to recap 2 tennis tournaments that took place in the beginning of this month. Before we begin, we are going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you guys all very soon.